Hello guys, my name is Purandeya and the title of this video is Human Threat to Mangrove Conservation in Guyana. Guyana is geographically located on the northern part of the continent of South America. The country's coastal line faces the Atlantic Ocean, bordering 6 of its 10 administrative regions to the north, which is protected naturally and artificially or man-made. In terms of man-made, the seawalls were built to run along most of the coastal line and naturally is protected by mangroves, which is a common and well-recognized term the world over. This single word encompasses mangrove community or ecosystem. Mangroves are defined as intertidal forested wetland plants confined to the tropical and subtropical regions of the world. The typical mangrove structure found on the coastline of Guyana resembles this image, where the red mangrove faces the Atlantic Ocean, followed by the black mangroves, then the white. The uses and benefit of mangrove for the people of Guyana is well documented as presented in a previous video project. Link is in the description. To give a summary of these benefits, it includes sea defense and natural nursery for fishes and crabs, to facilitate their growth and increase in numbers, to continue to act as food source for the citizens of the country. However, direct interaction with mangrove has caused severe depletion. I will go more into detail later in this video. But first, we need to understand why there is an interaction between mangrove and the people of Guyana. This interaction is by design. Guyana's social and economic activities are mainly based on the coastline, resulting in a forced interaction between the people of Guyana and the once majorly and naturally occurring mangrove ecosystem along its coastal line. Let us put this interaction into historical context. In the early years of Guyana, before the first successful settlement in the 1580s, the country coastal line was dominated by mangrove forests, and the coast may have probably looked like these images. However, as time went by, in the years of the Dutch and European colonization, Guyana's coastal land transformed into a major producing area for agriculture products such as sugarcane plantation, rice production, and cotton and coconut farming by removing mangrove. With the absence of mangrove in the early 19th century, the coast of Guyana experienced vulnerability from flooding, erosion, and sedimentation. And to resolve this problem, a seawall was erected by further removing mangrove by placing these structures. This wall did not remain unbreached, leading to constant replacement being made to the structure. This brings us to the current history and status of the mangrove in Guyana. With the seawall becoming unreliable on its own, the importance of mangrove became more apparent for its practical use as sea defense. As such, the conservation of mangrove ecosystem became a viable addition to the sea defense of the country. And in 2010, the Guyana Mangrove Restoration Project was funded by the partnership between the European Union and the government of Guyana, which started replanting program for a few years between 2010 to 2013 along the coastal line for the protection from the oceanic tides and to naturally allow re-establishment of biodiversity that once thrived. Mangrove conservation is occurring currently in Guyana. There are still human activities that directly affect the progress of conservation. These major threats have been occurring before the conservation efforts and still are persistent today. The first of these threats are grazing, which can lead to the eating of leaves of the seedling and sapling of mangroves, resulting in the plant dying or population being reduced. Grazing can also affect the plant's function, for example the rooting system. Study shows that the removal of too many leaves has a profound effect on the rooting system. For instance, Research on grasses have demonstrated that if 80% of the leaves are removed, the roots stop growing for 12 days. And when 90% of the leaves are removed, the roots stop growing for 18 days. Taking these results into consideration, damage from grazing animals can mean the death of plants. Second threat is from fishing. In Guyana, the majority of fishing activity occur on the coastal zone between the mangrove forests, where the fishermen use the young mangrove as poles for draw nets support for fishing. In this picture, you can see that these poles are displayed along the river bank. And to put this image into perspective, this is occurring throughout the coastline of Guyana, as presented in the following table by the study done by Allen. Next is the born earth production. This activity is in decline, but still very much practiced. Guyana bored earth bricks are produced by cutting black mangroves, which is considered a higher quality species. Another threat is agriculture and farming. As mentioned since colonial times, Guyana has been a major country for agriculture practices. 27% and 20% of the 2001 GDP was attributed to rice and sugar respectively. Why is this significant? It is quite simple. In order for farming of such important crops to increase, mangrove forests along the coastline are to be removed to increase production. Squatting is another activity that directly affects mangrove. In 2002, recorded by Allen, majority of mangrove clearing were settlement by squatters. However, government were also reported being clearing mangrove areas for housing schemes. Other major threats include timber milling, which occurs in many regions of the country, where mangroves are removed to construct sawmills by riverside. Also, the waste generated by these mills are being dumped within mangrove stands, smothering the aerial roots, which causes mangrove dieback. Another threat is the tannin bark, which is produced by peeling the bark off of red mangrove tree. This activity is supported by the available market locally and regionally. At one point in the late 90s, upwards to over 90,000 kg of mangrove barks were extracted. Guyana protection starts on a legal ground. In the effort to protect mangrove, it has become illegal to cut mangroves without permission granted from the state. However, there are no direct law under which mangroves are protected. However, they are covered under other legislations, such as the Guyana Constitution Article 36, Forest Act 2009 Part 3, Fisheries Act 1957 Part 8, and the Sea Defense Act of 1998. Another step taken by the state is monitoring, where rangers are trained and placed at areas where replanting has been done. A monthly report is generated on the status of the mangrove, as well as a daily update to Mangrove Project Office. Awareness is yet another step taken for the protection of mangrove conservation within the country. This public awareness range from signs being placed at strategic locations to essay competition to spread the word of importance of mangrove conservation to children, and even television commercials to reach a wider audience. My one recommendation is for more research to be done on the social aspects to identify the sources of the negative activities so that a suitable solution or alternative could be reached.